Oh, hello there. I'm Bill-chan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Ban-chan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 7, Section 1 of The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
S.
Ah.
The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. Author Conan Doyle. Chapter 7, Section 1. I had called upon my friend Sherlock Holmes upon the second morning of till Christmas, with the intention of wishing him the compliments of the season. He was lounging upon the sofa in a purple dressing gown, a pipe rack within his reach upon the right, and a pile of crumpled morning papers, evidently nearly studied, near at hand. Beside the couch was a wooden chair, and on the angle of the back hung a very seedy and disreputable hard felt hat, much the worse for wear, and cracked in several places. Hat had been suspended in this manner for the purpose of examination. "You are engaged," said I. "Not at all. I am glad to have a friend with whom I can discuss my results." I seated myself in his armchair and warmed my hands before his crackling fire, for a sharp frost had set in, and the windows were thick with the ice crystals. "I suppose," I remarked, "that, homely as it looks, the well, no crime," said Sherlock Holmes, laughing. "Human beings all jostling each other within the space of a few square miles. Amid the action and reaction of so dense a swarm of humanity, every possible combination of events may be expected to take place. Being criminal. So much so," I remarked, "that of the last 6 cases which I have added to my notes." "Precisely. You allude to my attempt to recover the Irene Adler papers, to the singular case of Miss Marisa Leland, and to the adventure of the man with the twisted lip. Well, I have no doubt that this all matter will fall into the same innocent category. You know Peterson. No. He found it. Its owner is unknown. An intellectual problem. And first, as to how it came here. It arrived upon Christmas morning, in company with a good fat goose, which is, I have no doubt, roasting at this moment in front of Peterson's fire. The facts are these. About 4 o'clock on Christmas morning, Peterson, who, as you know, is a very honest fellow, rode in front of him. He saw, in the gaslight, a talisman, walking with a slight stagger, and carrying a white goose slung over his shoulder. As he reached the corner of Good Street, a row broke out between the stranger and a little knot of roughs. One of the latter knocked off the man's hat, on which he raised his stick to defend himself and, swinging it over his head, smashed the shop window behind him. Peterson had rushed forward to protect the stranger from his assailants, but the man, shocked at having broken the window, and seeing an official-looking person in uniform rushing towards him, dropped his goose, took to his heels. Court wrote. The Ross had also fled at the appearance of Peterson, so that he was left in possession of the field of battle, My dear fellow, there lies the problem. It is true that mice which was tied to the bird's left leg. The initials HB are legible upon the lining of this hat. As there are some thousands of bakers, this city of ours. What then goose to me on Christmas morning interests me. The goose we retained until this morning signs that in spite of the slight frost, it should be eaten without unnecessary delay. Its finder has creative health, therefore, to fulfill the ultimate destiny. Of a goose, then, looking. Here's my lens. You know my methods. The tattered object in my hands and turned it over rather ruefully. A very ordinary black hat of the usual round shape. Worse for wear. The lining had been of red silk good. Deal discoloured. There was no maker's name, but remarked. The initials HB were scrawled upon one side. Pierced in. The brim for a hat secure, but the elastic was missing. The rest. It was cracked, exceedingly dusty, and spotted in several places, smearing them with ink. I can see nothing, said I, my friend. On the contrary, Watson, you can see everything. You fail, however, to reason from what you see. Then, up and gazed at it in the peculiar introspective fashion which was characteristic of N. It is perhaps less suggestive than it might have been, he remarked. Yet there are a few inferences which are very distinct, which represent at least a strong balance in probability. Intellectual is of course obvious upon the face of. It was fairly well to do within the last 3 years of evil days. He had foresight, but has less now than formerly to moral retrogression, which, when taken with the decline of his fortunes, seems to indicate some evil influence, probably drink at work upon. He has, however, retained some degree of self-respect. He continued my remonstrance. He is a man who leads a sedentary life. Little is out of training entirely, is middle-aged. He has had cut within the last few days lime cream. Hat. Also. By the way, you are certainly joking the least. Is it possible that even now results? I have no doubt. That I am very stupid, confess that I am unable to follow you. For example, clap the hat upon his head, upon the bridge of his nose. He the decline of his fortunes, this hat is 3 years old. These flat brims called at the edge came in then. Of the very best quality. Excellent lining. Years ago, and has had no hat since, well enough certainly. Sherlock Holmes laughed, his finger upon the little discon lip of the hat securer. Sold upon hats. If this man ordered one, a certain amount of foresight, this precaution against the wind. Elastic and has trouble to. We place it, less foresight now than formerly, which is a distinct proof of a weakening nature. On the other hand, upon the flat by dubbing. Then we think the further points is middle-aged, that is. Hair is grizzled, that it has been recently cut, and that he uses lime cream examination of the lower part of the lining of herrings, clean cut by the scissors of the barber, to be adhesive. And there is a distinct odour of lime cream. This dust, you will observe, is not the gritty but the fluffy brandest of the house. Up indoors most of the time are proof positive that the were perspired very freely, and could therefore has not been brushed for weeks. When I see you, Watson, with a week's accumulation of just upon your hat, wife allows you to go out in such a state, nay, bringing home the goose as a peace offering to his wife. To everything. One tello stain, or even two, might come by chance. But when I see no less than 5 there. Although, anyhow, he never got tello stains from a gas jet. Well, it is very ingenious, said I, laughing, but since just now there has been no crime committed, the loss of Goose, Sherlock Holmes had opened his mouth to reply when the door flew open and Peterson, the commissionaire apartment with flushed cheeks in the face of a man who was dazed with astonishment. The goose. Mr. Holmes. The goose, sir. He gasped. What of it then? Of the man's excited face. See, sir. Pommel brilliantly scintillating blue-stone rather. Smaller than a bean in size, dark hollow of his hand. Sherlock Holmes sat up with a whistle. By Jove, Peterson, said he. This is treasure trove indeed. A diamond, sir? A precious stone. It's more than a precious stone of Morcar's blue carbuncle. I ejaculated. Precisely so. And shape every day lately. It is absolutely unique, conjectured £1,000. It chair and stared firm. One to the other of us. That is the reward. It was list. If I remember right. To be continued.